So hello everybody, I'm Ralph Ferret, the branch secretary of the Plymouth and East Cornwall Mail, just recording a quick message for our members about the events yesterday at the High Court and the temporary postponement of our industrial action. So right from the get-go, I don't think there's any point in dressing this up. The decision is both very disappointing and it does represent something of a setback to our interests. I'll be honest with you, and I don't really want to beat around the bush about that. The result yesterday was not what we hoped for, and the outcome of it is not what the CWU would have hoped for. But at the end of the day, this has never been about us having a strike. Not for this union. What this has always been about is about us reaching a deal on some very, very important things. And let's recap them, because whatever might have changed yesterday, the following things haven't changed. First of all, Royal Mail have a desire to impose a pay settlement on you that will amount for the overwhelming majority of full-time members in what's essentially £1,000 a year real terms pay cut for the rest of your working life. That position hasn't changed since yesterday. Royal Mail would like to engage in a massive pensions robbery on our members in the Royal Mail pension plan and are still offering little or nothing to the tens of thousands of people in the DC scheme. And Royal Mail are still seeking a mail pipeline, a delivery method, a first letter time and a last letter time that's utterly unacceptable to our members in delivery and utterly unacceptable to the public who rely on the postal services. And another thing that hasn't changed since yesterday is that we together, this union, delivered an emphatic, monumentous yes vote for industrial action because the position that the company has taken has been completely and utterly and resoundingly rejected by postal workers. And no amount of chicanery or trickery or resorting to the courts is going to change any of those things. And if Royal Mail think that they've dodged a bullet by what's happened yesterday, then they have another thing coming. And this union, you guys, our members, will hold them to account and will ensure that they have only had a Pyrrhic victory and a temporary postponement of a reckoning. Now, I want us to get to a position where we have a negotiated settlement, and I worry now even more than at any point in the past that we are dealing with a management of a company who have no interest in fairness, have no interest in a deal, and have no interest with negotiating with you guys. That ultimately, what they want is to move to a position where there is no influence or say or input from postal workers into the future of Royal Mail and the future of the postal industry. And the dispute now has come to that level of a fundamental point. So, we will do what we always do, and we will seek to get a deal in these negotiations. And I believe that Royal Mail are maybe have made a bit of an error in some senses, because I think that when they find that they're in formal negotiations with a proper arbitrator looking at what they're saying and what they're doing and what their motivations are, look at things like the fact that they won't send any of their A team to do the negotiations, that missing Moya hasn't spent a second in those talks, that their sums don't add up, and all of those things are probably not going to help the cause for Royal Mail. And if we can utilise this enforced extra arbitration to get a deal, then great, because we'll have got a deal. And if we can't, then all of the things that they were worried about, that were threatened, the damaging industrial action will still take place. So, what can we do moving forward? Well, the branch are going to debate all of these things. We're going to come out and talk to you in gate meetings next week with your local reps and more gate meetings with the senior officials next week. But one thing that I think we can all do moving forward is stop giving Royal Mail anything for free. So nobody should be coming in early. Nobody should be working through their meal reliefs. Everybody should be doing the job properly as instructed by their managers and using the tools. That we should be giving no quarter and no favours and no deals to managers. Because if they're not going to play fair by us, then we should, for once, play fair by them. Let's do the job the way they ask us to do it and see how they like that. So there'll be more stuff that we come out and talk to you about. This is a hump in the road. But by standing together, united, 110,000 postal workers who have fundamentally and utterly rejected the myopic vision that Moya Green and her board have for Royal Mail and the future of the postal industry, if we stand together, if we're united, if we keep the faith, they can't beat us. We are an immovable object, and they are a very, very long way from an irresistible force. So whilst it's disappointing news, the underlying fundamentals, the facts, the strength that we have is undiminished. Keep the faith, stand together, support your union, and we'll be victorious. Comrades, thank you for listening, and thank you for your time.